Hello, you join us here at the spectacular Waddesdon Manor in Buckinghamshire as we continue our search for unknown artistic talent. And this year, it's all about the great outdoors.
In just a moment, 8 artists will have just 4 hours to paint, etch or sketch one of this estate's most impressive views for 3 exacting judges.
So sit back and get ready to enjoy some outstanding art. This is Sky Arts Landscape Artist of the Year.
In our search to find the next great landscape artist, we've teamed up with the National Trust, and they're letting us set up home in some of their most magnificent properties.
Thousands applied, but only the best have been chosen to come and paint some of the country's most spectacular views.
I'm feeling happy and quite jolly, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Well, it's a start.
They're competing for a £10,000 commission to paint the view of Flatford in Suffolk, one of the jewels in the National Trust crown, which will become part of the Mill's permanent collection.
Until someone says stop, I'm going to keep going.
Today, another 8 have come to Waddesdon Manor to prove themselves. I think it'd be good to maybe just do that square foot of grass over there.
And it's not just our judges they'll need to impress. Raymond Tissot used to live at Waddesdon Manor, and he'll be choosing his favourite to take home.
I'd like to keep quite a few of them.
And there's a twist. 50 more artists from all over the British Isles have joined them on a first-come, first-served basis to try their luck as a wild card.
I'm just moved by the community of artists working. It's really, really nice.
But with the challenges of painting outside...
Oh, the sky is just going, it's just so changeable.
Who will judges Kate Bryan, Tyshan Sheerenberg and Kathleen Soriano
She's created something that looks like the house out of Psycho.
put through to the semi-final?
I feel like I could do another 2 hours extra.
In today's final 8, we have 5 professional artists. They are David Alderslade, Hester Berry, James McGarry, Ten Junyan and Noreen McIntyre.
I feel really nervous about today. I haven't slept very well for quite a few weeks. Hopefully I'll sleep better tonight.
And joining them are 3 amateur artists, Lucy Davis, David Douglas and Daisy Hardman.
Obviously quite nervous, but excited. I mean, I'm doing printmaking, so there's quite a lot that could go wrong.
They were all chosen purely on their talent, spotted by the judges from a digital image of their work. But does the real thing meet expectations? A painting like this is quite a different thing when you're standing next to it, isn't it? I really want to touch it.
Yeah,
I really want to
Well, it's
touch
like a Van Gogh. I love Van Gogh's painting when I was a kid.
It's just incredible to see the brush marks. I mean, this is really thick. And I like the way the artists have used different marks and blended the clouds. I mean, it's a very dynamic painting. It's very beautiful to see it in the flesh.
And that great energy that they have got going through it.
Well, it looks like a storm and it feels like it was painted in a storming, swirling fashion as well.
Well, the artist tied to a tree.
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, I hope so. God, I love this. What do you think? It's
They're
brave, isn't it?
really, really thoughtful.
It's really inventive, the way the artist has found this filigree of trees, and it reminds me of Rackham fairy tales. It's very sort of dark and mysterious. It's very beautiful.
I have to say, I wasn't anticipating a black and white landscape. Something quite exciting about it.
Definitely.
Well, I think we were, because we picked it as an etching on screen. And I think what we all loved about it was that moodiness.
It's got a weather feeling to it. And, you know, today was really sort of quite stormy and grey this morning. It would have been perfect for them. As it gets bluer, I worry more and more for them.
This is not naturally the thing that I would normally go for because it's a bit too traditional. For what it is, I think it's really, really well done.
I love the slice that it's taken, being quite narrow, and it's somehow managing in that small space to capture the monumentality of that landscape on the right-hand side, and yet the more urban landscape on the left. And I'm looking for something that isn't just about hills and trees.
If someone had described this to me and said there's going to be a painting of a dry stone wall with some corn over the top, I would have thought, I will totally hate that. But in fact, they've done something really exciting with it.
I'm really, really pleased with it. We've got an incredible variety. And I think that staidness that maybe we were all worried about actually doesn't appear in anything that we've got on this wall.
We've selected brilliantly.
That's it. You did a great job, you guys. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The artists usually choose their own view, but today the judges want to see how they tackle the impressive Waddesdon Manor. Inspired by a French chateau, will the artists attempt its intricate turrets, its many sculptures, or its cultivated gardens?
It's coming together in my head exactly what elements of the building I'm going to use and what trees I'm going to move to the left or to the right and what statues I'm going to put in or take away. I think I'm going to go portrait. I know it's landscape and it's that radical.
James McGarry is a professional artist from Cleveland. His acrylic landscape is of Stays, a small fishing village in North Yorkshire. He was inspired to paint the view on seeing the smoke and light falling across the water.
I just want to start, and it's... I've got butterflies, it's a strange thing.
Artists, I hope you like the view because the challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your work, so good luck. Your time starts now.
Faced with our choice of scene, a time frame, and under the scrutiny of judges, there's a lot for the artist to adapt to.
What's the main challenge for you today?
I wouldn't usually focus on something so perfectly beautiful, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So it is really, it's more that I would be focusing on.
You don't have to do a centre stage.
No, I know that. I know.
Monumental house.
I know.
I think it'd be good to challenge the judges a bit and maybe just do that square foot of grass over there. Noreen McIntyre is a professional artist from Dyes Art in Scotland. Her landscape in shellac, enamel and oil is of a forest near Queensbury in Fife. Outside of teaching art, Noreen has some diverse hobbies. You pump iron, is that right?
Oh, don't say that. Oh,
what?
Don't. No, I don't.
You lift dead weights, don't you?
I lift, yeah, or I used to do a lot more than I do. Yeah,
no, I'm interested. I like the idea of the muscular artist. Because one imagines artists to be these, you know, fey, wispy characters.
Yeah.
I like the idea of you and your partner's a personal trainer.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you use, like, really heavy brushes?
While 7 artists are creating their images by putting paint on canvas bit by bit, printmaker Daisy has the opposite approach.
I'm going to take my piece of metal and completely cover it in black ink, and then from that it's just a case of rubbing away to decide what bits I want light, what bits I want dark. Usually add a bit of white spirit and some talcum powder just to give it a few bits of texture, some mark making, and then the mystery is revealed as to what it's going to look like, because I kind of don't really know what it's going to turn out like until it comes through the press.
Daisy Hardman is a graphic designer and illustrator from Ascot. At 23, she is the youngest artist in the heat. Her landscape is dry point etching inspired by Richmond Park.
Yes, I'm kind of one of the crazy people that actually really wanted it to be rainy and horrible and dark and gloomy, because I work in black and white and I love creating work that has like a real atmosphere to it.
It's coming together. I'm feeling happy and quite jolly, and I'm really enjoying it.
Lucy Davis did her Art Foundation course at St Martin's College in London. A mixed media artist, she produces much of her work in her holiday caravan in Cornwall, just 100 yards from the sea.
How does the changing light, because it's a cloudy day, sometimes it's sunny, how do you cope with that?
You've got to make a decision to go with one, I'm going to try and work from this, so that my tones, my shadows are on this side, and build that in.
Yes.
Because it changes so much the view that you're looking at, you can't keep changing your mind, and that's a disaster.
Our 8 competitors aren't the only artists painting today. On a first-come, first-served basis, we've invited 50 more to come to Waddesdon to try their luck as a wild card. Artists of every age, technique and level of experience have come from far and wide to join this festival of art.
Such a fantastic atmosphere.
And if any catch the eye of the judges, they could find themselves in the semi-final.
I'm sort of torn between, there's one side saying this and there's one side saying that. It's a bit like playing snooker, you know, like you take your shot, but you know when you've taken the shot if it's wrong, you know.
I've got no sense of what your painting style's like, so I had to come back later.
I haven't. This is my very first landscape.
Really?
I started painting at Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
So anything can happen.
OK, well then we're definitely coming back to have a look later. Fantastic.
You've done a lot already.
Yes, you have to work quickly out of doors.
You might get moved along.
The wild cards will have to truly impress the judges if they want to find themselves next to one of our 8 heat artists at the semi-final.
This bit's quite forgiving, because if it goes wrong, I can just ink it up again. But I guess it's with the press. If the print's not good, then it's just a waste of time.
I'm concerned that I won't know when to stop, because less is more. I just need to make sure I'm not getting too wildly mad with it.
Here at Waddesdon Manor in Buckinghamshire, our 8 artists are a quarter of the way into this heat of Sky Arts Landscape Artist of the Year, and one artist may not need the whole 4 hours.
Esther, I like it already.
Oh, good. Shall I leave it?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Already it has a real beauty to it, I think. Professional artist Hester Berry teaches life drawing in Brighton. Her landscape captures the final light of 2014 at Broughton Burrows in North Devon. Last year, she made it to the heats of Portrait Artist of the Year. I think the judges felt that day that you should have stopped a bit earlier, that you overworked it. Are you aware of that today?
Yeah, well, I felt that at the time, but I felt a bit weird about just stopping and twiddling. I felt I should make use of the time.
Yeah.
But since having a baby, I've realised my time is limited, so I do stop when I need to.
Because when you were with us last year, you had Zebedee with you.
Yeah. Having him has helped me because it's made me realise any moment I have to paint is more precious, and it's made me more economical as well.
You do a lot of landscape, don't you?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is what you
that's
do.
I use.
This
yeah,
is your
that's what
job.
Yeah, completely. You know, I paint landscapes every week.
David Alderslade is a professional painter who lives and works in a caravan on Salisbury Plain. His landscape is of a rusty and overgrown combine harvester he discovered in a field near the River Avon in Wiltshire.
I'm rather fond of that hedge. I hope you're going to include the hedge.
Yes, yeah, I'm going to get that in, definitely.
That lovely dark
And the stripes on the lawn as well. I'm going to see if I can get those
There's
into
so
foreground
much, isn't
too.
there? And also the statuary. Now, what are we going to do about that? Are you going to leave that?
I'm going to put both of them in. There's an interesting one on the left-hand side, which would be way out of my picture at the moment, but I'm going to move that over and put that in as well.
So you're going to a little bit of falsifying.
Yes,
I'm sure
yeah.
people have always done that.
It's for the picture, isn't it? You know, that's the
It's
thing. I'm going to make my picture work rather than the scene that's definitely in
That's
front
great.
of me.
Reimagining the scene isn't just about what's in the picture. It can involve changing its natural colours.
You got a hell of a lot of different pigments. You mix them with water or?
The gum Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah, and make them more shining.
Tenjun Yan had formal training in China before moving to the UK to study at the Slade in London. The colours in his landscape of Regent's Park are a result of his ability to see a larger range of colours than most.
You've got this magical condition where you can see millions of colours at the same time.
Tetrachromic.
Tetrachromic?
Tetrachromic. When I was staring some places and just can see like a lot of colours on that. But I mean, on the one hand, like you can see many colours. You can just put all the colours on the canvas. But on the other hand,
it doesn't work.
Sometimes
it's a problem.
not work.
Today's artists are using everything from talcum powder to masking fluid to help them achieve their effects. It seems they all may have a trick up their sleeves. David, I find you applying flow improver.
Yes.
I've never heard of that before. What does it do?
Well, I find when I use it, it makes the acrylic a little bit more flowing. It's almost like fairy liquid. It sort of makes it a bit less coarse.
I really need some flow improver, generally, in life. Art teacher David Douglas is an amateur artist from Northamptonshire. His landscape is of the cliffs in Hunstanton in Norfolk, a location that for him holds fond memories of past holidays. I know you have a sort of an adage which you paint by, which is, I believe, strong shapes make strong painting.
Yes, yeah.
Do you feel you've got your strong shape today?
Yes. Say, for example, a good horizontal down the bottom stops the composition dropping out.
Right.
This nice vertical shape there. The danger is you can get all willy-nilly and do little bits and bobs.
Don't get willy-nilly, David.
No,
I think
no.
that's going to let the whole thing down.
The wildcards are providing the judges with a myriad of talent in approaches to painting Waddesdon Manor.
So you start with this sort of muddiness and then you'll sort of put in the definition?
With
Is that the
sketch,
plan?
actually. So that's capturing the initial impression.
And will you
It's quite
stick?
gloomy to begin with, which I really liked.
I like that too.
Now it's getting a bit sweet for me. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll rain this afternoon and screw everyone else up.
I've been doing this all day.
I know, I saw
Because of the tree.
you know, very early this morning you were doing it.
I'm completely drawn to that white statue.
Yes, I'm trying to get all the sensual curves. Because the garden's very sensual, I think.
In what way would you say that?
Well, it's the shapes, you know, the curves and the
Yeah,
like
you're
a woman's
right.
body, you know.
Yeah, and a man's body as well.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that's true.
Scaled up somewhat,
Yeah.
but yeah. The whole garden is about sex. I wouldn't have seen that if you hadn't have told me.
I might have a dirty mind, I don't know, but...
Well, maybe, but I've joined you in there. And for one judge, it's not the view of the house that's stirring emotion.
Sorry, I'm a bit moved. I don't know why. It's just... Sorry. I'm just moved by the community of artists working. It's really, really nice. And they're all into it. That's what they're all totally immersed because they want to do it. There's a great sort of bouncing off of energy. And I feel that here. It's a great community of artists. It's just a very nice, lovely thing.
You know, it was kind of built by Baron Rothschild as a pleasure palace. It was all about big society parties. So it's almost like you've taken that vibe of party time and you've translated it.
Well, I've never tasted Rothschild's wine, but you know,
Maybe one day.
It looks like you have.
I haven't.
There's a couple of the wildcard painters that I'm definitely going to come back and keep an eye on. There's some real characters, and that's what you'd hope a wildcard would be. I want to see people that have come and have got guts and are just having a great day out, and then, you know, I'd love to see one of them go through. It'd be lovely.
If you built Waddesdon Manor today, it would be a huge feat of engineering. But back in 1874, building on a big hill in the middle of the countryside posed enormous problems, but not enough problems to stop Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild from completing the pleasure palace of his dreams.
Ferdinand first saw the hill on which the manor now sits when he was out hunting with Rothschild staghounds. It was a completely bare hill, and yet you look at it now, this French Renaissance chateau cloaked in trees and with this wonderful high Victorian garden, and he created that from scratch. And that entailed all sorts of incredible work. He had to cut the top off the hill and level it to create the plateau on which the house now stands.
It was a huge job to get the building materials onto site. There was even a little railway so the mayors could deliver the stone and wood to the carpenters and builders. Once complete, family and friends, as well as the great and the good, came to stay.
Henry James famously visited. Queen Victoria came in 1890, and the Prince of Wales was one of Ferdinand's great friends, and he came on many occasions. The house is designed very much with this very, very grand entertaining in mind. So you would be taken on a tour of the estate. You would go to the aviary, which was stocked with species of rare birds. And of course, you would spend time with Ferdinand looking at the collections themselves. If you were very lucky, you might be invited into his private sitting room, the Baron's room, where he might show you the latest acquisition. And interspersed with all of this programme of activities, of course, was wonderful eating and drinking.
As the manor was handed down through the Rothschild family, entertaining remained the theme. In the 1940s, James and Dorothy de Rothschild brought in chef Monsieur Tissot from Paris and worked closely with him to create their exclusive menus.
What happened, my father used to prepare a menu in a menu book, and Mrs. Rothschild would come down and say, oh yes, like this, we've changed this particular plate, that sort of thing. When it came to Christmas, I used to help my father with getting the turkeys ready. And I spent the rest of the time running around the fields, exploring. When I first came here, they had a horse and trap. The chauffeur used to say, come on, Raymond, so do you want to come for a ride? If there was no school. And I'd go in this little trap with him, and we'd drive around, had a lovely time.
Raymond, welcome home.
Oh, thank you very much.
How old were you when you first lived here?
I was 11. We had 2 rooms here.
Did you see the Rothschilds?
Well, I knew them, but I mean, downstairs don't mix with upstairs, do they?
So, did your father cater for these huge parties?
Well, with the staff, yes. I mean, you imagine, the scullery maid used to get up at about 6 o'clock in the morning, light the fire, so that they were ready to go off for breakfast. Something like about 150 breakfasts, 150 lunches, 150 teas or suppers.
And your father was across all of that?
He was in charge of all that.
And did you go and meet them all? Were they nice?
Oh, yes, well, very
How did
social.
they treat you?
As a blooming nuisance.
Now, part of your visit is that you will choose a painting.
Yes.
And you will have your pick.
Oh, thank you very much. It'll be lovely.
Nearly 2 hours into the challenge, and Daisy's ready to go to press.
Major concern is the press, I suppose, because I could ink up my plate and do it all and be happy with how it looks, and then the pressure might not be right on the press, so the print will come out like a bit too weak or something. Fingers crossed, and I'm probably going to have to roll it through that way and then back the other way. Doesn't feel like there's much pressure there.
So does it?
So it means that there'll probably still be quite a lot of ink on the plate, and it might not. It's scary. It's usually quite a stressful moment, even with no one else looking.
Yes, that's fantastic. That sky is just stunning.
Well, it's a start.
Oh.
It seems that Hester isn't happy at the halfway stage either.
I'm aware that it's very rough because I've only been working on it for a couple of hours, so I'm not sure whether to use the rest of my time or leave it.
At Waddesdon Manor in Buckinghamshire, the artists in this heat of Landscape Artists of the Year are at the halfway point, and the judges have started to form their opinions.
Daisy over on the printing press there, how do you think that's going?
She's created something that looks like the house out of Psycho. Yeah. It's nice to see her take sort of an emotional response to the building and put that into the work. I feel like I want more moodiness.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to have the Psycho house, let's make it really dark.
The sky is very beautiful. She said she mixed herts with it because the ink is quite a sort of stodgy, thick material, and she's got this fantastic watercolour-y effect, which I wasn't expecting from that.
And then James.
I didn't think I'd like James's work because it's so of a tradition and it's almost academic, and I really like it. I'm going against all. Who am I? I've changed. I really like it.
Noreen, sort of mystical, fantastical. I'm waiting to see it emerge. I've got a quiet confidence in her.
Can you see any relationship to what she's standing in
Yeah,
front of?
because if you look really carefully, there's this lovely sort of silhouette of the roof line.
I think it's going to emerge.
What about young David?
Because he's working in watercolour, he's had to think of what he's doing. It's a process where he has to work very carefully and reverse things and block things out. It's not sort of instinctive what he's doing.
No,
it's very well planned.
You always think that landscape painting would be so sort of expressionistic and instinctive, and he is so methodical.
So then we have Hester.
Right from the start, it was a really bold, painterly start. She had the blocks of trees and the brush marks. It was just really nice to watch it happen.
She had like a 2 or 3 inch brush, and she just did that, and already I could see the scene.
She just is able to read a scene. The word on the street is that she's going to do too.
You're starting again?
Yeah.
And then for the competition, you will decide which one you want to be considered?
Yes.
Are you thinking of it differently?
I need to approach it completely afresh, as if I hadn't already done this, I think, and see.
Lots of luck with it.
Thanks
We'll
very
be
much.
watching you throughout.
I want to maybe bring the woods over, it's sort of overlaying in front of here more, and maybe have some greenery at the side instead, but I don't really want to focus on the building too much.
I think it's about the building, isn't it? And it's not lost, it's a tiny little building far away. I'm really going, wow, there we go, there's the manor. It's in your face.
What you've really captured is a real sense of being in France.
Oh, really?
I feel more so than any of the others I've seen. You sort of, we've got a French chateau here. I'm sort of sitting on the lawns beside one in the Loire.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our 8 heat artists have less than an hour to complete their work and impress the judges. But will a wild card be joining them in the semi-final?
I like the orange grounds showing through.
Yeah, I think the orange is really successful. And nice, particularly against that blue that's really pops.
Didn't realise you were going to put them together. Was that the plan?
Yeah, I planned to join them together.
And what about the degree of finish? Because there's a higher degree of finish, isn't there, in the studies, wouldn't you say?
Relative to the scale.
Mine's very different to the majority of the others, but I feel like this is the kind of painting I wanted to make today.
But can the judges agree on an artist to put through?
What about the one with the orange background? That was always my favourite for the day.
No, it was too tame. I tell you, I've gone back the diptych boy. I know it's muddy and I know it's green.
If we're going with a diptych guy, I'm only going with the small one, the small bit of painting that you like, the first sketch. I think the big stuff is just a lot of big brown painting.
What do you like
big
then?
brown, green. I don't like any of them.
Oh, we'll never win.
The problem is he getting in on the... I mean, we're showing the diptych as the thing that's got him through with our competitor, with whoever wins from our competitors.
Stand up next
they won't
to them.
stand up.
What I don't want to do is to run the chance of losing 2 good wild cards in another programme.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd rather leave it.
Yeah,
and keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed for a really fertile day somewhere else and we'll get 2.
Agreed.
Brushes, paints and pencils are all part of an artist's kit. But on a day like today, there are other essential components our 8 competitors have decided to bring with them.
There's my daughter, my mother there, and my daughter's friend, and then my best friend, and then my dad. And they're making a lot of noise. But I love having them here. It's really good to see them.
I think Tongjian's invented a lot of different things that aren't really there, but that's a good thing, I think. It's to try branch out your imagination, even though you have a certain view. Tongjian's going to win, I'm sure.
I'm amazed that she's done 2 in the time. I think the first one's the best one, but you never know. She's had a really nice day, and well served. Me and Zeb too. It's just been a lad's day out, really.
There are just 30 minutes of the challenge remaining.
Interesting.
Do you have a favourite at this stage?
I don't actually like any of the ones I've done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm quite unhappy with the prints that I've got.
I'm quite frightened of your hands, generally, that they're going to come near me at some point, so I'm going to leave you.
Oh, the sky is just so changeable.
I feel like I could do another 2 hours extra, really, but you know, we'll see if I'm gonna speed up.
Here at Waddesdon Manor, there are just 10 minutes to go.
Just ignore me then, just continue. I'm just going to look at it.
Until someone says stop, I'm going to keep going.
It's difficult to choose because I like the colours in that one, but I feel like this one just works better. That was really just a bit, you know...
That's the more bold.
It is more bold. I don't know if it's more successful for being more bold. I think it's going to be this one, still. I'm more confident with this one.
I'm going for this.
OK, you've had another play, made
Yeah, I
it
had a bit of time, so I made some bits darker.
Brilliant. OK,
Great.
done.
Decision made.
Artist, you have 1 minute left.
Artist, your time is up.
Please put down your equipment and step away from your work.
Before the judges take a closer look at today's work, Raymond Tissot, who used to live at Waddesdon Manor as a child when his father was the chef, is invited to choose his favourite to keep as a reminder of his time exploring the estate.
Artist, can you please turn your easels? So, Raymond, what's your first impression?
Well, I'm quite astonished at what I've seen.
Great deal of variety, isn't there?
There is a terrific deal of variety, yes. I had a go when I was about 14 of doing a picture of the mansion here.
Oh, really?
But from the other side. It isn't finished yet, but...
No point in rushing it.
No.
So, Raymond, which painting would you like to keep?
I'd like to pick
keep quite a few of them, actually. They're very evocative of my time here. But I've decided which one I like.
Ah, James.
Thank you, Thank you.
Well done, James.
Thank
and
you.
I hope it brings you lots of pleasure,
Oh,
Raymond.
it will.
The judges now have to decide on a short list of 3, from which only one will claim a place in the semi-final.
At the beginning, when she started, I thought, that's it. Hester's going to absolutely walk it. And it's that sort of lusciousness of the paint that she uses and the confidence with which she applies it. She's got a lovely movement through the perspective, sort of up the lawn and then across and then back to the building. It works really well.
Last year they commented that I should have finished earlier. I think they might think that I've taken what they said too much to heart.
I think it's a really courageous, brilliant contemporary painting. I absolutely love it in its state. I think it's a really cool painting, and I'd have it in my house and I'd be really proud of it.
This is absolutely magical, but I don't know where the building is in relationship to it.
It's the reconciling the built environment with the natural environment, which is what we're doing here today. I mean, there's this huge, big, imposing house that's been put into the landscape.
I've fallen for it, I'm afraid.
Yes!
I've been seduced by it completely.
I'm so pleased that you like it as well.
The piece is unfinished. I really hope that the judges can see potential with it, but the competition is fantastic.
His graphicness is what we like, the way he simplified forms. What is interesting is that he's been able to bring in an atmosphere. So it gets hazy as it goes back. There's like a sort of mist that's sort of risen out of the hedges in the back. I think I love it.
He's so good with form and line, and I think so often we overlook how important having that kind of control is.
The second half seemed to just fly by, which is when I really want to do the sort of enjoyable parts of it. So it was a bit rushed, a bit hectic, but still, it turned out all right.
I think she's really produced something quite special.
Me too.
I think there are fantastic passages in the sky. I think your eyes led around beautifully. It's full of narrative, dare I say it, even though I was sort of joking about it being more of the Psycho House than Waddesdon Manor. I really enjoy this work.
I thought she would actually, with subsequent prints, capture that more, and then finally this afternoon then pull a print that was absolutely had all the elements she was looking for. But it seems it didn't quite come off.
I don't actually think it went very well for me today. It wasn't my best printing experience, but I mean, I'm quite pleased that I managed to do it on the day, but yeah, overall not a great printing day for me.
I think we've got our 3, haven't we?
Yeah,
I think we've got our final 3.
Yeah. Yep, happy.
It's been a fantastic day, but the time has come to announce who has made it to the shortlist. The first artist is Hester Berry.
The second artist is David Alderslade.
And the third and final artist to make it to the shortlist is Noreen McIntyre.
And our commiserations with those of you who didn't make it. Very well done.
I feel good. I mean, I knew I hadn't had a good day. I think print's quite hit and miss, and everything I was making I wasn't pleased with as it was going, so I wasn't expecting to go through anyway. It was a bad day for me, I think.
I'm a little disappointed, but hey, Raymond, he chose my painting, so that's great. It's quite moving, that. I enjoyed that.
To help make their final decision, the judges talked to Noreen, Hester and David about their work.
We love that window you gave us into that magical forest. But it's interesting that in the picture that you painted today, even though the building takes up more than half, you didn't attempt much more of it.
I knew that I wanted to explore the detail in the woodland area, and I did want to explore the linear qualities within the building, but I did run out of time. My chances probably aren't the best, but I'm just really happy to be shortlisted. It's what an opportunity.
I know you are under immense time pressure, and you've finished it, but where would you have added detail?
I'd definitely have made these bushes a bit more three-dimensional. There would be more detail in the building as well, but just no time to do it. So
well, you did a lot today.
I don't even hazard a guess as to whether I've got a chance, to be honest. It's just amazed that I was shortlisted.
You stopped sort of just over halfway through the day and decided to leave it. And last time we met, we told you that you'd maybe gone too far. So was it a conscious decision today to be very careful to not do too much?
To be honest, over the past year, I've been used to being a bit more economical and stopping when I need to. But yeah, I was aware. I did think you might think I'd gone too far in the opposite direction though this time. I told myself I didn't mind if I didn't get shortlisted this time, but it is. I would have been disappointed if I hadn't got as far as I had last time, so it's nice.
Deciding who goes through to the semi-final is completely down to the judges, but something is bugging me.
Can I ask a question about Noreen? I don't know, for me I thought, oh God, I love her stuff, but she hasn't quite done enough. That big blank on the side, it doesn't look like an artistic decision to me. I just felt what she didn't do, it just undermined the whole thing.
But I would be so upset if that house ever made it into that painting in any more than it already has.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't. There was just like a magnitude to leaving this ghost there.
She's a very interesting artist, but we've created a situation today where we're in these grounds and we've got this fantastic house, and I'm not certain that she's risen to the challenge.
I was a bit sad that the print didn't make the final three.
I think Daisy's very special, and I think we need to keep an eye on Daisy going forward.
She was a real contender, and I loved the way that she did face a series of challenges throughout the day, but she kept trying.
Hester did 2 paintings.
It was impressive to do that in the time.
And she's a lovely painter. The first painting particularly, that sort of sense of
the storm.
That sort of stormy and really atmospheric, and it was equally exciting painting.
So have you agreed the final?
I don't know now. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Okay. David, Hester, Noreen, congratulations on making it through to the shortlist. I know the judges found it a very difficult decision to make.
But they have decided, and the judges felt that the artist they've chosen to go through to the semi-final displayed consistency of vision, and they're keen to see how this person will develop. That person is Noreen McIntyre. You're allowed to cry.
Okay, thank you. Well done, lovely girl.
I thought Noreen's work is great. I thought she might win. I thought she might have the edge, and it's really deserved. It's beautiful.
Thank you, sweetheart. Well done, Noreen.
Both the other artists were brilliant, so it's not a surprise.
Really happy, and I can't quite believe it.